Chopping it up with Ramel. Chopping it up with Ramel. Chopping it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Chopping it up with Ramel. Chopping it up with Ramel. Chopping it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat.
Good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Hey, listen, I'm going to get right to it. First of all, thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate that. You guys can follow me on YouTube. Just search Troy, Ramel, R-A-M-E-L, Royal. You can follow me there. Subscribe to me. If you do so, you will not miss a video. You also can follow me on Facebook.com, Chopping It Up with Ramel, Choppin, ChoppinWithRamel. Chopping It Up with Ramel. Let me get right to it. This is a day that I'm not even going to speak about the Knicks. As we embark on the stretch run of the NBA season, the Los Angeles Lakers had a very interesting day yesterday. Sometime a week ago or so, we learned that Magic Johnson was going to take on some sort of advisory role, consultant role, very similar to what Jerry West is doing for Golden State and what he has done in the past for Memphis and the Los Angeles Lakers. But yesterday, news came down early that he was quickly appointed president of operations. And soon as he was appointed president of operations or vice president of operations, either or, he was the head man in charge. He fired Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss, the son of the late great owner, Jerry Buss. And he fired the son with the blessing of the daughter, Jeannie Buss. Now, also, keep in mind, Jim Buss is part owner of the team. So, essentially, he fired the owner of the team. Magic Johnson comes in, clears house, and he starts making moves right away. He hired former agent Pelinka, and then he went on and made a trade yesterday that I actually think was a great trade. I really thought it was a great trade. He traded Lou Williams to Houston. He picked up Corey Brewer, pretty much a journeyman, but a very effective journeyman. You know, he's a guy that might give you 15 minutes a night, but you know he's on the court. And also a first-round draft pick. Now, the whole key is getting a first-round draft pick. It would have been better if Corey Brewer had an expiring contract. But nevertheless, you got a first-round draft pick. Listen, the Lakers are in rebuild mode. Okay? If they should somehow win enough games where they don't get the top 3 pick in the draft, at least, they have a first-round draft pick. It's going to be a little late. It's probably going to be somewhere around 25 to 27. You would have liked to see that in the teens or under 25 for sure. It's a pretty deep draft. I'm not sure how deep it's going to go in that first round. But if you can get maybe a top 20 pick, you might be able to come away with someone that should be able to play on your team every night and get some quality minutes. But I think it was a move that Los Angeles needed to make. It really did. I felt bad for Mitch Kupchak. I thought Mitch Kupchak actually did a very good job as a Lakers GM. But just as of late, they really couldn't do anything to better this team. They were unable to sign free agents. In some cases, they was unable to get meetings with free agents. How about that for a second? He's done a good job drafting over the years. I mean, the latest guys that they drafted that's on the roster now, it's not a bad team. I'm not bad players. Russell's not a bad player. Randall's not a bad player. Clarkson is not a bad player. So he really, Ingram, so he did a really good job. Question at 12:01, free agency kickoff last summer, you questioned the Mozgov signing. You might question the term of the contract of the Luol Deng signing. But for the most part, Mitch Kupchak didn't do a bad job as a GM. On the other hand, Jim Buss was horrible as someone who was in charge of operations. He just did a horrible job, and the blame and the fault has to lie on someone, and it's going to lie on him. You know, the Lakers are history. They're historical. They're one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. They've had success. They've been to the finals like 30 plus something times. They have, I think, somewhere around 17 rings or something like that. It's too much history on this in this franchise for this team to be set back in this way. I mean, for the Lakers not to get meetings with guys like Kevin Durant and so forth, it's just unbelievable. It's unfathomable. I mean, for them to lose out on Dwight Howard, I mean, they trade for Dwight Howard and he stays one season and go. Whether we say this is about Dwight Howard or not, but this is also about the Lakers. They got their man and they wasn't able to contain him. That's something that's never happened in years past. Whenever a big man was available, the Lakers would always actually get that big man. When you stop and think about the Lakers' history, outside of Bynum and maybe Divox, what other big man did they really drafted that was a factor as a Laker? Chamberlain came through trade or free agency. Kareem came through trade or free agency. Shaq came through trade or free agency. Even Dwight Howard came through trade. Paul Gasol came through trade. And that brings me to my next topic, is that reports came out that when DeMarcus Cousins was traded, it was between the Lakers and New Orleans. But once Sacramento asked for Ingram, the conversation went dead, and they pulled the deal with New Orleans. Now, from what I've learned and sources that I've been in contact with, Magic had nothing to factor in that decision. But I can see how that went down. Magic was probably somewhere conducting business elsewhere, got wind of it, and called Jeannie up and said, "You did what? You had an opportunity to get Cousins?" It ain't so much about Ingram, and personally, I would say Ingram would have had to go. But if you had an opportunity to get DeMarcus Cousins to the Los Angeles Lakers, you have to find a way to secure that deal. And I think that's how Magic felt. It wasn't about the principles involved. You find a way to make that happen. As a result of it, the Lakers fail. The next day, Magic comes out of nowhere. He's appointed VP or president of operations, and everybody's fired. Apparently, his role of helping them or being a consultant or advisor to get the Lakers back to the glory days was quickly escalated to president of operation, and I believe the straw that broke the camel's back was the failure of putting a deal together to attract the attention of Sacramento of bringing DeMarcus Cousins to the Lakers. Because 24 hours later, Magic's in charge, everyone is fired. Listen, Lottie Divac had some great years with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's not a stranger to the building, to the organization. sometimes a lot of things, a lot of deals in any genre of business, whether it's sports or others, is made through friendship. The big three did not form together in Boston without Kevin McHale someone who assisted him during their playing days, Danny Ainge, when he traded Kevin Garnett to Boston for just about nothing at the time. Okay? Phil Jackson trades for Derrick Rose. Whether the results are favorable or not, it was a good move at the time, and it looked like a steal for New York. But he made a trade with a person that he used to coach, in John Paxson. Yes, friendship can make a difference in business decisions. For all y'all that think that business deals is made in the offices, and a lot of them are. Don't get me wrong. Maybe the majority are. But there's a lot made on the golf course just as well. Friendship. Friendship plays a role. So you telling me that the Lakers could not have put together a package to not only bring DeMarcus Cousins to the Lakers, or simply just stalled the process to New Orleans? I guess Magic said that's enough. And called up Mrs. Jeannie Buss and said, listen, I need to get in there right now. Right now. And the one thing we know about Magic, and I know some people will say, well, Magic doesn't have no experience at this role, blah, 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 blah. And absolutely right. And we saw what happened in New York with Phil Jackson. He didn't have experience at the role, and looks like he's failing miserably. Well, I'm going to defend Magic Johnson here, not because he's Magic. Magic Johnson has been more successful as a businessman than he was on the court. And that's unbelievable, because you can make the case that Magic Johnson is the best to ever play the game. You can make that case. But Magic Johnson's career off the court has been 3, 4, 5 times more successful than on the court. And this is a guy that went to 9 finals in 13 years. This is a guy that's won 5 championships. This is a guy who won a championship in his rookie year. The greatest player that played the game at the time was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He goes down. In Game 6, Magic plays center as a rookie, scores 42 points, and beat the Philadelphia 76ers to capture his first championship in his rookie season. To go on and go to championship 8 more times. That's success, guys. 9 trips to the finals in 13 years. That's success. But off the court, and off the court, his achievements across the country, opening businesses, being involved, having an input and a say in the Dodgers and the Liberty. A lot of things he has touched have blossomed. This guy is a businessman. And I know, by the way, doing so while maybe dealing with one of the biggest challenges that anybody can deal with his health. Outstanding businessman, outstanding career off the court. So, if he can take that aspect of Magic Johnson off the court and combine that with the Magic Johnson that was on the court, there's no doubt in my mind that this guy has the strong possibilities, or capabilities, I should say, or potential to do a very good, maybe a great job as president of the Lakers. There's no doubt in my mind. Not for 1 second will I doubt that. Because the one thing I can say about Magic Johnson, he's a winner. He's a winner. When Lottie Divac came to the Lakers, he could barely speak English. Lottie Divac was one of those first international players to come over. And Magic Johnson took him under the wing. So I know they have a relationship that's pretty strong. I'm sure they would have sat down over a nice glass of wine or dinner or just had a great conversation on trying to put together a package to bring DeMarcus Cousins to the Lakers. There's no doubt in my mind that Magic Johnson was ticked off by the Lakers by not securing a way to getting this guy to the Staples Center. And I don't blame him. Because DeMarcus Cousins might be a head case, emotional player, but one thing he is, he's a top 10, possibly top 5 player in this league today. He's the best center in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if you see more changes in the next 36 hours from Laker Nation. And when free agency tips off July 1st, you can rest assured that he will start getting meetings. Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, they're free agents at the end of the year. Golden State should be worried because he's going to get a meeting with them. Whether they win the championship or not, he will get a meeting with them. And Magic has always won everybody over since his day he came in as a rookie. Won everybody over with his charisma and his smile. The guy's a very personal type of person, and he knows business. Bottom line, he knows business. Well, I'm going to close on that note. And once again, for those who thought that the Lou Williams should not have been traded, I understand where you're coming from, but it was a move that the Lakers had to make. So that's going to do it for today's show. I'll get back at you guys in 24 hours. I just want to thank you for tuning in. And y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you soon. Peace and blessings.